A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control.
If they don't like that you want to be free, if they don't like that you are a Second Amendment advocate, if they don't like who you call your God, they can demonetize your life. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay for this video. I'll try to make it as quick as possible. I have a video that I have to show you that I got from the Bank of International Settlements. And this is something that you need to hear. So when you hear in the future that you are going to be given free money in the form of a centrally banked digital currency, someone from the central bank is going to come out, or someone for the government, some pundit is going to come out and they're going to say, listen, we are here to save you. We are going to give you money so that you can spend however you want. But you have to download this app because it's going to be a centrally banked digital currency. When you hear this, ladies and gentlemen, if you love freedom, no matter how bad a shape you're in, don't take it. Because as I often said in the past, you have to read between the lines when you see articles like this. But I went ahead and combined this article here with a video that I'm going to show you here in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, the future that's ahead of us, if we allow this CBDC to come forward and to be manifested by the central banks and our governments, ladies and gentlemen, it's not good at all. You think that we are facing challenges now? Goodness, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be terrible if we allow this to happen. Here it says, the St. Louis Fed has some advice for your Thanksgiving dinner. Eat plants, not poultry. And at first glance, when you read this, what's the first thing you think about? What in the heck is the darn St. Louis Fed or anyone from the Federal Reserve telling me what I should or shouldn't eat? And I agree with you 100%. What in the world are these bankers doing telling us what we should eat? They're bankers. Why don't you do your job and instead of telling us what we should eat, instead of giving us advice on our nutrition, fix the mess that you've gotten us into with all of this money creation over the last century or more, and mind your own business about what I eat. But ladies and gentlemen, that's not how I see it. So someone from the St. Louis Central Bank posted this over the weekend. A Thanksgiving dinner serving of poultry cost $1.42. A soybean-based dinner serving with the same amount of calories costs 66 cents and provides almost twice as much protein, says the St. Louis Fed's Twitter account. Right? And here's the actual tweet from the Fred blog. And there they go, and they say the same thing that I just said. And of course, there was a lot of backlash on this and everything like that. But ladies and gentlemen, that's not what I'm seeing in this article. What I'm seeing is a lot scarier than a Fed president or a Federal Reserve Bank trying to tell you what to eat, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to show you here in a second.
Our analysis on CBDC, in particular for the use of general use, we tend to establish the equivalence with cash. And there is a huge difference there. For example, in cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know that he speaks with an accent. That's why I put on the captioning here. Pretty much what he said here in the first portion is that many people mistaken that CBDCs, centrally banked digital currencies, are the same as the dollars that we use today. And he is saying that they are not. Right? He is saying that they are not. And he is also saying, ladies and gentlemen, that the difference between the paper bills and the CBDC is, as you can read down here, is that with a CBDC, that central bank will have absolute control. I'm going to let him finish his speech here, and then we'll get back into this.
A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And
now what he said here is that central banks will have full control of the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that central bank liability. That central bank liability is the CBDC, right? Because a centrally banked digital currency is a liability for a central bank. So instead of him saying the centrally banked digital currency, he used these fancy words. So what he's saying is that the central bank, ladies and gentlemen, an unelected private banking organization, will have full control of how you use your money. I hope this is getting through to some of you, because some of you will be in a position where you will tell yourselves, I really need those CBDC credits that they're going to put on my digital wallet so that I can go eat. Because some of you will need it. And that's going to be the question. That's going to have to be the decision that you make. Will you want to be free, or will you want to be a serf and take the free bread that is really going to cost you and your children their freedoms?
Also, we will have the technology to enforce that. Those
We will have the technology to enforce how the CBDCs are used. So ladies and gentlemen, just like this Fed president here, or the Illinois Fed, said that you should be eating soy-based plant food instead of turkey for this Thanksgiving, they will actually have the ability to block those that they want to block from buying a turkey. They will have the ability to block anything from you that you may want to purchase if they don't want you to purchase it. If they don't like what your ideology is, if they don't like what party you vote for, if they don't like that you want to be free, if they don't like that you are a Second Amendment advocate, if they don't like who you call your God, they can demonetize your life. That is what the CBDC will be. This is their dream, ladies and gentlemen. All of these other things that are going on, ladies and gentlemen, is just smoke. It is just a smoke screen. Their solution is going to be to have a centrally banked digital currency. And how will they do that? In my opinion, they are going to create the biggest financial crash that has ever existed in the history of mankind. They are going to make everyone poor. Everyone poor. Because the money is going to become worthless. So if you don't have any real assets, things that you can hold, and all your wealth is in paper, you will have nothing. And that's most people. Then they will come and say, I'm here to save you, with a little something called a CBDC. And ladies and gentlemen, things will be great. In the beginning, things will be great. People will get their CBDC credits. They'll be able to spend them anywhere they want. Things will be great. And then once cash is finally gone, once cash is a thing of the past, that's when the draconian measures will take place. That is when they start looking at your medical records and say, hey, listen, AP, I see that the last time you had a checkup, your blood pressure was a little high. Maybe we should not go to McDonald's this month. Now ask yourselves, is this the world you want to live in? When the government comes forward and tells you that they're going to give you free money, it is not free. And I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I am not a prophet. I am not a genius. I'm not even that well educated. I'm really not. But I have a little pea in between my ears. I have a little pea in there that swishes around once in a while. And I can read in between the lines. This is, for a lack of better words, ladies and gentlemen, and cover your children's ears, this is their wet dream. This is their wet dream. This is how they will have full control over us. Over everything that you buy and sell. Do they want to put a carbon tax on you? You have absolutely no say. You'll have absolutely no say. Why? Because you don't have control over your own money. They'll put a carbon tax on you. You want to go buy that pound of steak? That's fine. You're going to have to work the equivalent of a full day just to buy that 1 pound of steak. Why? Because the steak only cost you an hour of your labor, but the carbon tax that they put on it is going to cost you the other 7. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now that we got over that, I'm going to go ahead and play the video so that you can listen to it in its entirety without me intervening.
All our analysis on CBDC, in particular for the use of general use, we tend to establish the equivalence with cash, and there is a huge difference there. For example, in cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also we will have the technology to enforce that. Those two issues are extremely important, and that makes a huge difference with respect to what cash is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it. I mean, I can talk about this for the next hour, but I won't. Maybe we'll go ahead and talk about this during Wednesday's live stream. But ladies and gentlemen, this is their plan. They've been working on this for years. Don't let them fool you that they've only been that they're just now looking into this. They've been working on this with MIT for years. They are going to try to own everything about you through a digital currency. From your labor to everything that you think you own right now. They're going to try to own everything about you, ladies and gentlemen. Think about it. Money is everything, ladies and gentlemen, because money represents your labor, and your labor is your freedom. Think about it. Do you want your freedom? Do you want your labor? Do you want your time to be controlled by one entity when it should really be controlled by you? So when they come and ask you, or when they come and tell you, hey, we're going to give you some free money in the form of CBDC credits, I don't know when it's going to be. Maybe it'll be next year. Maybe it'll be the year after that. There is a very big financial crash coming. A very big one. And I've stated before that we either have a huge financial crash or that they're going to just change the system over. But either way, it's still going to be a crash, because it will be the end of the old system and the birth of the new system. So we are going to have a financial crash coming that is bigger than any that has ever existed. There is way too much debt in the world for generations to pay back with their labor. There's just too much. There's too many IOUs. When they come out with this next system, ladies and gentlemen, and if they get their way and implement a CBDC and people accept it, you know that part of the Tytler cycle, or the Tytler cycle that I talk about, that you go from oppression to religious? We're going to be in the oppression part of that cycle for a very long time before we find freedom. We're going to be in that part for a very long time. It's why I've stated in the past that right now when people say we are headed towards a dark winter, we're already in the middle of a dark winter, ladies and gentlemen. The thing is that this winter that we're in the middle of, it doesn't last a few months. It lasts more than a decade. So get ready. Get prepared. Get prepared. That way, when the day comes that they tell you you can't have this, you already have it. And you can hold out. One of our community members, I wish I remember her name. For some reason, I think her first name was Laura. But forgive me if I'm wrong. One of our community members was told, you either get the vitamin or you gotta go. And she said, I've got enough preps to get me through until I find another job. I'm not taking something that I don't want to take. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a way of preserving your sovereignty. She did not have to bend to the will of someone else because she was living paycheck to paycheck, because she didn't have preps put away. She was able to tell the man, you can keep your vitamin shot. I'm going to keep my freedom. Why? Because I prepared. Ladies and gentlemen, Nutrient Survival currently has this awesome little bundle on sale all the way through the end of December. I talked to Eric, the CEO of Nutrient Survival, and he told me that if you order yours before the end of this month, Nutrient Survival will guarantee that they get to you before Christmas. This bundle includes 5 singles each of the Southwest Medley, Homestyle Scramble, Maple Almond Crunch, Hearty Cinnamon Oatmeal, vitamin eggs, and the nutrient-rich vitamin coffee that you always hear me talk about. And as you can see here, it also includes this retro tin bread box. And the price on this kit, ladies and gentlemen, after you use the AP10 code at checkout, is only about $141. So if you're looking to pick up some singles for yourselves, that way you don't have to open a number 10 can and you can store those for long term, or if you're going to give some as Christmas gifts or even as stocking stuffers, remember that if you order prior to the end of the month, you will receive yours prior to Christmas. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, this, in my opinion, is the very best long-term survival food storage there is. There's nothing out there with more nutrients that actually feed your body what it needs. So feed your freedom with Nutrient Survival.